What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1047 of Flow Wrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined always and unfortunately by the auditorially sensitive Tyler Meisinger. Why are you wearing? You have the wrong things in your.
You mind?
Stop shushing.
I'm trying to listen.
Stop shushing me.
I'm trying to listen.
What are you doing?
I'm listening to a podcast.
You listen to a podcast while you're on. What do you listen to?
This one.
The Cthulhu.
It's
podcast?
getting to the really good part right now where the guy on the show puts in AirPods and ignores the other one.
That's a very funny bit. Tyler's here. He's back. He's a little cranky from his Fargo travels. He got jammed up, and he didn't thank me one time for picking him up from the Dallas airport and driving him home.
Maybe because you didn't do that.
Okay, yeah, but still, it would have been nice to get one thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, we're also joined by Andrew Spey. He is here. I say of course, but once every few weeks, Spey is able to pop in. We're always happy to have him. Spey, how are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Okay, well, good. We're all glad to be here. Excited to get going. All right. This is the part where I say how you can listen to the show if you don't already know. Mm-hmm. I know Tyler doesn't know. Every show he listens to, it's the first time he's ever listened to this show.
I was literally just listening to this show on the show.
So you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can listen live on YouTube, Facebook, the Flow Sports app, all kinds of different
FlowWrestling.org.
Right. I
You don't need the app.
I consider that part of the app family.
Okay.
So,
It branches off.
It's all part of the same network. So please do give us a 5-star rating wherever those are possible. Mm-hmm. And if there's 10-star ratings, do that. But I think 5 is typically the max for all ratings. And you can leave a lovely message about us. That'll be just great as well. Okay, today on the show, we're going to be talking about a lot of Olympic stuff. We're going to get into the rumors about Kadi getting into the Olympics at 74 kilograms. I say rumor right now. We're going to discuss the recently released Olympic betting lines, which have been a lot of discussion about those amongst the Flow Sports staffers. We'll get into those. We'll get into 86 kilogram preview and your questions, of course. So Tyler, why don't you take us through the opening round?
Start with the opening round. So it was reported that the IOC invited Kadi Magomedov from Belarus to compete in the Olympics as a neutral athlete. Kadi, for those who don't know, it teched Kyle Dake at the 2020 Olympics. He's the only guy who beat him there. He beat him 10-0. He did not do well at his last World Tournament, but he's a very formidable opponent, obviously has that win over Dake, and would really shake things up, be a huge addition to the 74 kilogram bracket. But how much weight do we give this reporting?
I don't know. It seems sort of random. I actually that's why I'm glad Spey's on this show. I reached out to some people that would maybe have an idea, and they seem to be sort of on the outside of knowing what the situation actually was. I feel like it'd be a pretty random thing to just put out there based on literally nothing. But also the timing of it is strange considering we're so close and they released all the entries and we haven't heard anything about someone being out of there's 16 in each Olympic field. Chimizo got in. So is someone out or is there going to be a pigtail match? It would be sort of random. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I've been, refreshing Kadi Magomedov's feed pretty continuously to see if he said he hasn't put anything else out there. So I don't know. It's a lot of smoke, and I'm not saying it's not legitimate, but I'm not getting. For me, I'm not ready to say he's going to be there. But Spey, I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, about the same. I refreshed his Kadi Magomedov's feed too, and this is a guy that's not shy about making noise and posting things on his personal platforms. On Instagram, he had some funny bits, trying to get a rivalry going. Said he wanted to fight or wanted to wrestle in the U.S. for money. Then he wanted to go to the UFC. So there's all sorts of stuff that you would expect him to be saying if he was in. Mm-hmm. Now the reason it's out there in the first place is because the source was the Belarusian Olympic Committee,
right?
Which sounds pretty official. I would also leave some level of uncertainty for many of the reasons that you mentioned. There's nothing from the IOC itself. There's nothing from UWW, which is going to need to have to figure out the brackets. And there's nothing from Kadi himself. But there is something from the Belarusian Olympic Committee saying the IOC said he was eligible, and now there will be two athletes, the 97 kilo in Greco-Roman wrestling, no women, and now Kadi at 74 for the men's freestyle. But again, there was little confirmation, and I don't know how much you can trust anything coming out of Belarus right now. It's not a very well-run country, and who knows what you can really believe.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
I judge nothing.
No, just kidding. It's not well run. But what I would say is like what the other thing that confused me more than anything is there's a reason Kadi's not at the Olympic Games, and it's because he was on the list. He was on the list of forbidden wrestlers. He was not allowed to be there. So what has changed? This is like, it's not like a Mamedov situation. Mamedov was out or was in. He was approved by the IOC, and then he took himself out, right? He was not in the... Kadi is in the same boat as Sidakov and Sadulayev and Agoyev, and when the IOC released their list, they were forbidden. They're not allowed. So I don't know what would have changed politically for him that would now allow him to compete in the Olympic Games. That's what confuses me the most and why I'm the most surprised. Like what... It also, if it's true, which we don't know, but it just kind of speaks to how opaque and the process was to forbid these guys. Because that's what we were all wondering. What did these guys do that got them on the outs? And now if this guy who was on the outs now could be in, it makes you question the entire thing, which I have questioned the entire time, the decision-making process and why some are in, some are out.
We're like a couple of weeks away, so the timeline is there's not a lot of time to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah.
Which is why, there was so much scrambling to begin with, and so it started with, the IOC in 2023 released a thing saying here's how the whole process is going to go, but they left a lot of room for exactly what does that mean? How do you determine who's in, who's out? Then they came up with a list, and it said here is everybody that's in, and everybody that wasn't on that list was assumed to be
troublemakers.
Was out. Yeah, it was, and but it was weird because they left guys in like Naifanov. He was like in the army and like wrestled attached to the Russian military. So you go, okay, nobody that participates in the military is one of the main things because of the war in Ukraine, Russia's invasion. So no surprise that Naifanov's out at 86 kilos. But then they did clear a guy, Mangush, at 57 as basically the alternate after Uguyev got ruled ineligible. But Mangush was in the same deal, the same military games that Naifanov was in because he was in the military. So you go, well, how did they clear him? And then Kadi Magomedov was out. One thing he did say, there was a quote from him saying, no one ever told me why I was out.
Yeah.
So he was confused. And so maybe the IOC reviewed it again and said, actually, we were too harsh or we made a mistake. He's back in. But if they did so, now you're right. They got to figure out who's out because after they ruled everybody ineligible and then after the people they did rule that were eligible declined to enter, like Mamonov and a bunch of other people, then they had to go fill those spots in with other people. So they already filled the spots at 74. Chamizo's in for the spot that Kadi Magomedov vacated and from Belarus got allowed in. So now if Kadi Mago's back in, do you kick Chamizo out? And the other weird wrinkle that is kind of neither here nor there is already going to be 17 people in the 74-kilo bracket because the Olympic refugee team added a guy at 74 kilo in men's.
So maybe that's why.
I don't think that is going to have anything to do with like Kadi unless maybe somebody else like drops out.
Or maybe the refugee's not going to go.
Oh, yeah, I would. He's in there right now. There hasn't been any word on that. But that just means that like I'm only saying that as in like I think they could add an 18th guy and the world won't explode. They'll just need an extra bed for him in the Olympic Village.
I don't know.
Unless he wants, he could rough it.
Yeah, he could rough it. Okay, so we'll get into if he ultimately is included, we'll maybe dive deeper into the impact and what this means for the bracket. But I'll just say that if Kadi gets in, he's not the number one threat to Kyle Dake's winning an Olympic medal. I think Kadi he had his run in 21, but he's since fallen off, and Jamala has emerged as a far more formidable threat, in my opinion. So he is the danger.
Well, you want to kind of hop out of short order real quick and just talk about Jamala real quick?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Talk about him.
Well, I've already talked about him.
Well, okay, so
at length.
You wanted to ask Spey about his
I will ask Spey about Jamala because
this is what it says. Spey, last FRL, CP did lots of fear-mongering about the threat of Jamala. Just how good is this guy for real?
I even wrote the line for you. And
yes,
you wouldn't read
thank you.
I'm trying.
We jumped ahead,
Okay.
We're out of order. I had to go to the page 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's really good. I don't, fear mongering. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration, or maybe playing it up just to drive the point home. But you shouldn't sleep on him. I mean, this is a guy that won Russian nationals twice. He's got wins over everybody. He's if you just watch, watch some videos of him, you'll see just how creative he is. And apparently I learned this on Twitter, I think from the same guy you did, CP, but trains still in Dagestan with Adam Satiev.
Yeah.
They're both from Hasavyurt on the border between Chechnya and Dagestan, and they're both Chechen descent. And maybe that, is why he took him on as a pupil. But you see the style, the scrambles and the stuff they're in. He's never out of any position.
No.
And he does those things that a lot of the European style Russian guys do, where you get in a scramble and you're thinking, okay, next thing you know, you get flipped on your head or some sort of lift or throw. And he's really dangerous. I would say he's the biggest threat to Kyle. And, a lot of people want to talk about who's not in, obviously Sidikov. But, in tournaments where Jamalov's not in, there's another contender that's not in. So every tournament, there's guys that are missing, and he is a threat for that gold medal, 100%.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, he messed up Kadi Magomedov pretty recently. You can watch that match. And actually, not pretty recently. It was, I think it was right before Kadi transferred. So, he beat him bad, and then Kadi transferred to Belarus. And then Jamalov, I guess, transferred very recently, just kind of almost predicting that Russia was not going to get in. And pretty smart move on his part. But he had a 2-2 match with Sidikov the last time they met, Jamalov and Zarbek. So, yeah, I just think we need to drive the point home. This is going to be an incredibly tough bracket for Kyle Dake.
How old is Jamala?
It's 25.
So there's a chance, because I've been kind of
He's
talking
Kyle Dake's age.
I've been saying no, he has losses to Chamizo, he has losses to how do you pronounce
Salkazanov.
Salkazanov. So I've been kind of downplaying him a little bit, but
You should watch
that was
the Salk match.
2021.
Yeah, he was
Those matches happened. So if you still have a lot of room to improve from age 22 to 25.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better. So yeah, I think he's really good. Anyway, so yeah, Jamalov. Watch him. Just look him up. Zamalov.
Sometimes they spell with a J.
They do. But if you look on YouTube, it's more Z's than J's.
Mm-hmm. I think that the J is more of since he transferred to Uzbekistan.
Yeah, they love the J.
Okay, so some Olympic wrestling betting lines have surfaced. What do you guys make of these lines from betrivers.com?
Yeah, a lot of them are really terrible, honestly. And if I were a betting man, which I'm not, there's some pretty good value here. Now, Spey is our resident odds expert, and he can break it down for the common man.
More pressure.
That's what he's able to do. So let's take a look at these 57-kilogram betting lines, Spey. What do you see here?
So the first thing we should point out is that, it all depends on what betting service that you're going with, because anybody can set any odds they want. If it's legal or even illegal, they can go for it. But this says that, so this is all based, this is American money line, so think of $100 first. So if you have $100 and you bet on Stevan Micic, the negative 286, we'll think of it as in the negative, you have to bet that number to win 100. If there's a plus in front of it, you bet $100 and you win the plus money. So Stevan Micic, he's the favorite. You have to bet $286 just to win 100. And Spencer Lee, slight underdog. You bet $100 and you win 150 if they win gold. This is just to win. You get nothing if they get silver or bronze. And you can convert that. You just Google it, odds converter, and saying, what is it, negative 286. That's a 74% implied probability of winning gold. If that's just what the math says.
So, and this opened at minus 500 in certain books, which is like a 90% or something like that chance. So they're for at 57, the reality is this is probably a 4-horse race with all pretty similar odds, I would say, between Micic, Higuchi, Spencer Lee, and Abakarov. And I say Abakarov, and you look at this, he's plus 1,100 on this Bet Rivers site.
That's crazy.
This is the 2022 world champion. He beat Stevan in 2022. He beat Zaur Aguyev in the medal match. He is next level good. He is.
You wonder what they would have made Aguyev if he was on this.
You would have to figure. Well, I don't know what you would figure, but worse odds if they did very little research. So I feel like, man, if you put $10 on Abakarov at plus 1,100. I'm not saying you should do that, but that is a terrible, terrible line, and I don't know why it is that. And it doesn't make sense to make Stevan that big of a favorite at these weight classes. There's more ridiculous favorites, I will say, but that really stood out to me. Abakarov at plus 1100.
I think Stevan should be a bigger favorite.
Bigger favorite. minus 5,000.
What's surprising, and we'll see this in some of the other odds that we look at, is that when there is something with that big, like plus 1100, this is a guy that won the Abakarov that you mentioned. You only have to bet $10 and you win 110.
Yeah.
He wins gold. So you can take these flyers, and it's odd that a book, especially these are considered like prop bets almost. There's something they just want you to get in the door of the casino, metaphorically. So get in there, place a little bet on wrestling, and then go heavy on the other stuff where the odds are more in the bookmakers.
On the ponies.
Yeah. Take a few bucks and sprinkle them. I mean, you can do a $1 bet and maybe you win, $11. Why not?
Yeah. If you just bet $100,000 on Abakarov, just a cool 100 grand. Just imagine.
I wonder what the max bets on these are.
They're usually pretty low.
Yeah, pretty low. But with plus 1100, it's pretty solid odds. Roman Bravo Young is a plus 1300. Like the fact that he and Abakarov are that close sort of makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Abdullayev, this guy was a second away from beating Agoyev. He's plus 5,000. So yeah, what's Aman? I think the Indian guy Aman had really high odds.
Abdullayev should be plus 5,000.
Yeah, Aman. So he actually had
Plus 5,000.
I mean,
You know what the implied odds are for plus 5,000?
yeah, probably right. You think Abdullayev's winning this?
No, but plus 5,000.
that's a 2%. That means he wins twice out of 100 times they do the Olympics.
I would give him that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
No, he wins at least 4. He wins the Olympics at least 4 times.
So it's Aman because they go by what's in the passport, and a lot of the Indian passports have just what. But it's in real life it's Aman Sir Rawat.
He's plus 3,300.
Sarawat.
He's really tough. The Indian Aman.
Mm-hmm.
Very tough guy. So this is a deep weight. 286 for Stevan is kind of cuckoo, but it's less cuckoo than it was.
It started at negative 500.
Yeah, I saw it at 500.
Wow.
And it's got bet down.
There was some DraftKings odds. Whoops. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to look back.
Spade's running. He's got a lot of irons in the fire right now.
Yeah, I can bring up the DraftKings.
He's bringing it up.
Here is
Don't worry.
the old odds. This is what it started at.
Okay.
On DraftKings.
Yeah, so this is DraftKings. They also have Olympic betting odds. This is fun. I don't know if you guys like talking
Not
about
on the
this
screen
stuff.
yet. Oh, it's on the screen
There
now.
it is. Bang.
There. So Stevan was a huge favorite at that point. Negative 500 is an 83% chance.
It's so funny because I feel like I've had to police both sides because on the one hand, people have been so totally dismissive of Stevan as a legitimate favorite to win the Olympics, which I think he very reasonably should be.
Yeah.
That's frustrating because like you don't even know what this guy did in 23, obviously. And now I'm like, relax.
83%.
He's like buzzer beating a lot of these matches, super close. Like this is a really even field for the big 4 or 5. And so now it's like kind of.
It kind of makes sense if you're like an outsider looking in, trying to make betting odds. Like you watch this guy beat like all of the
Every
next
good
contenders. Yeah, like he did beat all of them. So I think if you aren't into wrestling, and you're setting these odds, you're like, oh well, this guy already beat all of the other contenders, so it might as well just make him the guy. So yeah, I'll give them a little leniency.
Yeah, we'll give.
But me personally, if I was setting the odds,
Yeah.
Stevan negative 10,000.
Negative 10,000.
We can bring up what happens when a lot of people, the sharps they call them, bet real heavy on an underdog that should be a lot more closer to a favorite. And then here are the new odds. They just got pulled up. Stevan goes from plus 500 to plus 125.
Minus 500 to plus.
Or minus 500, right. So he was 83%, and then anything in the plus there means he's less than 50-50 now. And Spencer Lee pulls in a lot closer because you can imagine there were a lot of people that wanted to bet on Spencer Lee when they saw him at plus 500. Now it's down to plus 200.
Everyone should be plus at 57.
I agree, yeah.
Everyone should be plus.
Yeah, and that if you're right at 100, if you bet $100 to win 100 if he wins gold, that means he's exactly 50-50 odds.
Yeah.
Or that's what they're.
Which, I mean, 50, think about that. I mean, 50-50 odds to win this weight. Like, that's a huge, you're a pretty big favorite when you think about it. When you consider how great this weight is. So 65 is not listed on Bet Rivers. Was there one for DraftKings?
I haven't seen any.
Okay, 65. They just don't even want to touch it.
We're keeping eyes out for everything. Send it our way if you see it so we can talk about it and make some money. But
65 should. Feels because there's so many so many wrestlers in there. Do you think Amazad would be the betting favorite there with Mamadov out or Musakayev probably?
I would think.
You think Musakayev, right?
Yeah, probably. They would probably make it.
They would not be paying attention to his other results. They would
Yeah.
only look at Worlds.
Yeah, they won't even know he lost.
But there's some weight classes where they're not clearly looking at Worlds.
Yeah.
Where if you can go back, I don't know if we'll get to it, but at 76 kilos for the women, they have Kagami from Japan, and usually you don't do bad if you bet on Japan to win in the women's wrestling divisions. And Kagami beat Kyrgyzstan, Mehmet Kizi, in the finals of the 2023 Worlds, and Mehmet Kizi is a higher, is better favorite, better odds on Two Rivers. You have to ask the bookmakers at Two Rivers.
A lot of money.
Two Rivers?
Bet Rivers.
Bet Rivers, or Two Rivers, Three Rivers, however many rivers are involved.
Inside you,
Gotta
there are
bet
two
them.
rivers.
Okay, 74 kilograms. Let's pull those up, Andrew. It's got Kyle Dake minus 1,000. I think the Instagram comments set this set these odds, Spay, because minus 1,000 is that an 83% chance? I think we crunched those numbers.
Yes, negative 1,000 is a 90% chance of winning.
They have Jamalov at plus 500, Salkazanov plus 600, Sherman Valiev plus 800, Chimizo plus 2,500, the Greek Kugimetsidis 2,000, Takatani plus 1,300. So yeah, there's a lot of good guys in here. What were your thoughts on these lines when they came out?
Very pro-American. This is what I would expect if they knew a lot of Americans would be betting on Kyle Dake, because I still think he's going to be the favorite of this field. But if you're at a 40% chance to win, you're less than 500, and you still have a better chance to win than Jamalov, Salkazanov, Sherman Valiev, Byramov, all these guys that are solid, the Greek guy, Kugi, I don't know how to say it, and Chimizo, all those guys together, if they had even odds, they'd be about 13, 15%.
Yeah.
So if you're at 40%, which this is 90%, they were really expecting a lot of money on Dake, so they're trying to hedge their bets that way. I think they hedged a little bit too far.
Too much. Who's going to bet on minus 1,000?
Now you have to bet too much money to actually make anything. So it'd only be like if you do like a $10 bet and you win 10 cents.
I think he should be like minus 150 or something like that.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, that.
I think a lot of people would bet.
We looked at it, that was like 60% or something like that.
Something like that. Maybe you could probably go 200. I mean, okay, the craziest thing, let's go to 97 because Tazudinov is minus 200. He 10-0'd the second biggest favorite. Like, it's totally out of.
Do you think he should be more of a favorite?
Well, he should be more than Dake. He killed everybody.
Well,
Kyle Dake had a 2-2 match with his second round match and was down with 30 seconds to go against his potential semifinal match.
Yeah, but
not counting.
He does that.
No. And that doesn't even count Jamalov or Chairman Valiev or some of these other.
There's 4 Russians still in.
Yeah. So it makes no sense that if you're just looking at the results, then
97, that's up on the screen there. Tazudinov, the favorite, no surprise, but this is clearly tilting the odds in favor of the American there. No disrespect to Kyle Snyder. We all know he's capable. He's an Olympic medalist already. But he did lose to Azapira of Iran very recently.
Yeah, this year.
And so you see Azapira there is plus 700. That means he has worse implied odds to win gold than Kyle. Now, that still may be the case. I would bet on Kyle to beat him again. But it's a little out of whack when you compare it to 74.
Yeah. Azarpira is not seeded. So that's interesting. Maybe they're thinking he can be opposite, but he doesn't stand a chance against. His only shot is he needs Kyle to beat Taz, and then he needs to pray he can beat Kyle. Mm-hmm. I think he matches up terribly against Tazudinov. But yeah, see, it's just kind of out of whack.
Yeah. I think some of the big crazy odds there you're seeing make a little bit more sense at 97. It's a lot more rare that someone will come, a dark horse will emerge and win one of the upper weights. The lighter weights, kind of crazy things happen at a more regular frequency. So yeah, Eric Thiel, no offense for Germany, but plus 8,000 is probably even being a little too generous to him.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, 65 did have odds somewhere because I posted them in my Instagram story because Earn Your Gold, that guy has a great account on Instagram, had posted them. And it had like Haji Aliyev was like plus 2,500. This guy was in the gold medal match and lost by 1 in 2021. Like that's crazy. So I guess the point is there's a lot of really good value if you know even just a little bit more than the surface level of international wrestling. There's value to be had in these, which could be to your advantage, especially if you listen to the show. You should know what's going on, so you should have some opportunity. If you live in those states, Texas, we can't bet.
Did they have odds for 86 or 120?
They did. Yeah, I skipped just for the comparison of Kyle Dake, who should not be as big a favorite as Tezudinov being a 5 times bigger favorite.
We got 86 and 125. What do you want to go to?
86. Hassan Yazdani, minus 167. Brooks, plus 135. Does that feel about right to you, or should Yazdani be a bigger favorite, less of a favorite, Aaron Jew?
I don't think it's too bad when you consider just the body of work that you have for Hassan Yazdani. Literally one of the greatest ever. If it wasn't for David Taylor, he'd have like 10 gold medals or something right now. And then you have Aaron Brooks, which what do we say, plus 135.
It's a lot of respect for Brooks in my opinion.
That's a over a 40% chance implied odds to win. I think it's pretty good. And from an American fan, you definitely want to bet when the Americans are underdogs, so you can cheer for them and maybe get a little advantage in the money. If you're an Iranian, though, this looks as out of whack as the Kyle Dake, or the wrong way, maybe Tajudinov or something. If you're an Iranian fan, you're betting all of your farms, everything that you own. You're going all in on Hassan Yazdani.
What does Tyler think?
I think that Miles Amin should be much higher.
Much higher. Where do they have
Plus 900.
Plus 900.
I mean, when you have a guy like Yazdani who's run the weight class without David Taylor for so, like, in the absence of David Taylor, it feels like Yazdani almost could be more of a favorite to me. Like, I would not be, if you put Yazdani at negative 200, I don't think that would be crazy.
No, I don't either. Actually, we should just table some of this 86 talk because we're going to go a full deep dive, the seeds, the favorites, the whole thing. So maybe we'll just pause this 86 talk and move to 125. Is that all right?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Because at 125's it's kind of like a perfect weight in that you've got these 4 big guns. They're perfectly seated 1, 2, 3, and 4. Zare, Mason, Geno, and Taha Akul. So it's like, it feels like we know the semis and that we have a decent idea what the finals are going to be, which is interesting. And actually there's way less chaos that's going to happen in this weight class. There's not like at 74, there's so many dark horses, 65, even 86, which we'll get to. There's a lot of really good guys. I would be really surprised if anyone outside these top 4 were in these semis, which is a crazy thing to say about any of the Olympic weights, but they're seated that way. It feels really tough to envision a scenario where that's not the semis.
Yeah, I think Mason Paris having the tournament he did made it less. He's less of an unknown now. He ran, that was a full tournament. Everybody was there, and he picked up some big wins, and he earned a medal. Now he had that really nice match with Geno. He did drop it though, so you could say, hey, he should, maybe Geno was more of a favorite, but I agree. The top 4 are all right there. Zare is the favorite. That makes all the sense. He won Worlds last year. I would say Taha's a little undervalued there at plus 800, but I did see some DraftKings after we put all this stuff together, and Taha and Geno pulled equal, which I think makes sense. I might even favor Taha there. And then Mason, maybe they're shading it a little bit towards the Americans. But again, this is to win. And as you mentioned, surprises are harder to come by in the upper weights. And a guy like Deng from China or Munktor from Mongolia, really good, could get on the podium, but you just don't see him running that gauntlet and getting through all those guys because they have to get through at least 2, you would imagine, if everything goes as you'd expect, to get a gold medal, and that's what these odds are reflecting, gold medal, not podium.
Yeah. What's interesting about this dynamic is Zare is the favorite, but every one of the guys has beaten him. Mason pinned him at Junior Worlds. Geno beat him at the Olympics in 21. And then Taha beat him last second in 22 at the World Championship. So as much of a juggernaut as Zare is, and you do have to give the context of how good he's got over the last couple of years, right? But, man, he won in 21, then he lost in 22. He's not impregnable. He can be beaten. He's not like a Yazdani in 2017, just like chewing through everybody. He is the best, and he should be the favorite, but he's experienced defeat, and he's going to have to beat 2. There's no question he's got to beat 2 really, really good guys, world champion level guys, to win the Olympics. And for that reason, I think it's almost like a take your pick for the dogs is probably the smart pick. And honestly, Taha at plus 800.
Great. If you want to bet money and try to win money.
Compared to Mason at 150, the only thing I'll say is that I think Mason, I strongly feel Mason is going to beat Geno and make the finals. I really believe that.
Mason negative 10,000.
Mason negative 10,000, but plus 150. And I guess they're saying, well, this guy will have to beat Taha, and then, but if Taha beats Zare, then it's like, man, he's the favorite to win the Olympics at that point. So I think plus 800 is pretty crazy good odds for a literal Olympic champion, a legend of the sport, who seems to be still kind of height of his powers or close to it. Meanwhile, Geno in his last match, and I know we're applying all this logic that I know is not being used here, so it's maybe not fair, but it's relevant information if you're gonna bet. But Geno in his last match got injured. He came out with a heavily bandaged elbow, and then he injured that elbow in the match, and he didn't look great. So, Geno looks to be on the downside of his career. Mason still darn near should have beat him last year. He was right there. He went for that chest wrap, and Mason is one of those guys who every single time out, it feels like he gets better and better and better. And now a full year of training for the Olympics and really training for this field, right? Because Mason, he's on the team, he was sitting out, so had a year to focus on these big guns.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be ready to go. I don't know if he can win. I know he can win. I don't know if he will.
That was crazy of you to say.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
He can win.
He can win. I don't know if he will, but I think he's going to be in the finals.
This is the kind of way where, as an American betting fan, it's what you want. You get a little bit of juice with Mason, so you can bet on him, and he's still an underdog. But then you want to do a fun little bet on Taha for $10.
$10,000.
Yeah.
Put a cool 10 grand on it.
But yeah, you sprinkle a little on an underdog, but then you can still root for the American, and it's not a Kyle Dake minus 1,000 where you have basically no chance of making.
You basically can't lose money gambling, is what we're trying to say. It is.
And if you do, just keep betting.
That's the point. You have to spend money to
make money.
Thank you, Tyler.
This is all a joke legally. We are joking.
Yes. Now we're in the clear.
Yes.
Parity law applies to all gambling discussions. Just sprinkle a little bit of money. No, it's fun. Okay, so yeah, these are always interesting to talk about. I don't know if more sport books will emerge. I don't know why don't they ask us?
You would think that they would enlist the help of someone.
Who are the people that know the most about what's going on here? They basically all work here with a couple exceptions. So just so just ask us. If we don't know, we'll tell you who to talk to. But you know what? Then you guys wouldn't get the benefit of exploiting these odds. So
I like it the way it is. Keep letting them set however they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find the action. Find the edge.
Good stuff. All right, we can move on to the next topic, T-Bone.
Next topic.
Yes.
Full 86 kilo breakdown.
Sweet.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You want to? Let's read out the
I've been doing so much homework.
Can we get the bracket on screen? Hold on.
Well, go ahead.
I'll just start reading the seeds while you pull up the bracket.
Yeah.
Number 1, we got Azamat Dalutbekov from Kazakhstan. Seed number 2, Hassan Yazdani, Iran. Number 3, Miles Amin from San Marino. Michigan. Number 4, Shapia from Uzbekistan. Number 5, Ramazanov from Bulgaria. Number 6, how do you pronounce that?
Bayam
Basurin.
Is that Bat or Dinibot? It's just not, it doesn't say that there. It's our Dinibot.
Okay. From Mongolia, we got Krugliev from Greece, transfer from Russia, and Ishiguro of Japan.
Ishiguro's a bad boy. Oh my gosh. Well, I've been watching a bunch of 86 stuff, and Ishiguro, he teched Zahid. He beat Aaron Brooks at Junior Worlds in this crazy, it was an 11-10 match. Aaron had it, and he lost right at the end. It's kind of funny. Aaron's like so much, it's like 79 kilograms, I think. Now they're both much bigger. But then I was getting like all gassed up about Ishiguro. And then he wrestled Shapia from Uzbekistan, and he just killed him.
At Worlds last year.
Oh my gosh. And so like Shapiev is like enormous and super strong. And
then Miles beat Shapiev for bronze?
Yes, I believe so. So there's a lot of really good guys at this weight. The way it's bracketed, I think we're going to pull that up here in a little bit. The bottom side is murderous. And Aaron Brooks is unseeded in this weight. And obviously, we're going to be talking about this from an American perspective. So Aaron being unseeded, it will be ideal if he can somehow wind up in that top side. Opposite of, for me, Aaron Brooks aside, I think 3 of the other best guys, there it went, would be Yazdani Charati, Amin, Karugliev. Those 3 to me are like, I think the most dangerous wrestlers.
And Dalibekov.
I do not respect him. Aaron will murder him. I have no problem. Flip it. No, I respect.
I do not respect it.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
No, he's good. He's good for sure. But I that's not one that is on the level for me. Kozak in his preview, one of these dudes, I'm pretty sure it's Ramazanov.
Yeah.
He has beaten literally everyone, but Yazdani. I'll find it real quick if you can cover for me, Spay.
Ismagomed Ramazanov from Dagestan. He is one of the many Russians in there, and he is 31, so he's kind of on the older side for.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Olympic run.
He's
but
ancient.
yeah, he transferred to Bulgaria. Not a surprise that he needed to go outside of Russia to have better chances of making these worlds and everything. But yeah, I don't have all the stats about what he beat, but.
So yeah, he beat Gaji Magomedov. That was the guy that beat Dake back in the day. Chance Marsteller, Karimi from Iran, perennial medalist. Zahid Valencia, Valiev, Nurmagomedov, not Khabib. He beat Valiev. He beat Dalibekov, your hero.
My hero?
I mean, you're the one gassing him up. So he's a lot of really, really good wins. And it feels to me, as I think about this, Kurugliev, I think is really, really skilled, but I'm not sure where he's at in his career arc, right? Like, it's a long time since he's, had a super awesome result, but he's skill-wise really high level. Yazdani's the number one guy. And then it feels like Brooks could be sort of separate, almost like a tier 2 island. Maybe he can beat Yazdani. And then it feels like Kurugliev, Dalibekov, Ishiguro, Ramazanov, Miles, all those guys are in a similar category. It's a really even way. I think this is one where the medal, the bronzes could get really weird because there's so many guys I think that could do it.
Yeah.
All right. Right on.
I just don't. So obviously, if you're wanting Aaron Brooks to win, you want him to be dropped on the top side.
Ultimately, to be a hardo, you got to beat them all. But for a more advantageous path, yeah, you want to be on.
Where do you want him dropped?
Give him Dalibekov round 1.
Do you think so?
No, definitely not. Give him.
I want him with Shapiev and Ramazanov.
I don't know, man. Shapiev is a monster. He's really big, but he might feel terrible off the scale. I actually give him Ishiguro. Give him a little revenge match out the gate.
Ishiguro?
It doesn't make a difference. I honestly view all of them kind of similar. I think Dalibekov, no problem.
Yeah.
But
why do you not respect Dalibekov?
I don't know. It's just
Your first instinct was, I do not respect him.
I know. He just doesn't do it for me. He's good.
Okay.
He's good.
He's pretty consistent. Took bronze in the last 2 world championships.
Yeah. He's
beat Miles a couple times.
No, he's really good. I'm just doing a bit more than anything.
Even David Taylor, when he beat him, I can't remember if it was the quarterfinals or the semis, he was like, that guy's he was like, people don't realize how good that guy is.
David Taylor's yelling at his screen right now. He's like, whatever. No, yeah, he's good. I think Brooks is a tier above all these guys, and they're all bring really different sort of styles. Like Ishiguro, really good leg attacks, really powerful gut wrench, gets a lot of turns on guys, but can struggle with the power of some of the elite. And that's why I think Aaron, his power levels from like his junior worlds to now he's a different guy. And I feel like Ishiguro's, that's one of his biggest weaknesses. I feel like he's not the biggest 86.
Yeah, I think you nailed it about the power and Brooks being able to hang with these guys. I think two guys, Ramazanov already mentioned, then Kurugliev also already mentioned him, but have a lot of strength, have a lot going for them in that regard. And Aaron's going to have to weather the storm, as everyone will against those guys. And Kurugliev just beat Miles Amin at Euros. He was injured previously when he just went over to Greece. So I'd say those two guys, Ramazanov and Kurugliev, are going to be whoever. If he gets either of those guys in an early round, that's going to be a tough test. You can't look past any of them.
I think a scary scenario for Aaron is if you get dropped in that little quarter with Kurugliev and Yazdani. Then you have to beat one of those guys to medal.
Yeah, you do. I at this point now, I agree with you that I do think it's like Yazdani, Brooks, then I'll probably say Kurugliev, maybe Miles. I think they're all, but I really think the drop off between Kurugliev, Miles, Dalibek, I think it's pretty similar. But you're right. to have to beat them both, that would be a bigger challenge. Let's talk about how much of a favorite Yazdani is in this bracket, because there's a couple of different ways to approach it. The one is literally no one has beaten this guy other than David Taylor since 2016. That's it. And probably 95% of his matches have been techs. He gets off the mat. Guys cannot stay on the mat with him. So the big question is, and I think what you have to try to suss out is, what version of David Taylor did Aaron Brooks beat? Is it the guy that beat Yazdani 5 times or whatever? Or was it David just on his last legs, and we're not sure, what it means to have beaten David Taylor at that point in his career? Because we saw a lot of guys score on Aaron Brooks during that Olympic trials, and David Taylor wasn't able to do it. And that makes me think it wasn't the best David Taylor, which makes me think Yazdani maybe should be a little bit bigger odds. We shouldn't give Aaron Brooks the David Taylor treatment yet. This is his first senior level tournament. He hasn't done it. And I think you just can't say he's going to win the bracket outright. I think he can do it. I mean, our guy Kozak, who hates America. Just kidding. He picked Aaron to win. He thinks he's going to beat Yazdani.
You think Aaron can stay in the hand fight with Yazdani?
We have no idea.
Yeah.
I think probably, but
Who do you think has a better gas tank?
Aaron,
Why?
because I've never seen him gas out.
Yeah. Never?
Miles Amin gassed
Miles
him out.
Amin gassed him
Miles Amin gassed him out bad. Yeah.
So that's where, that was obviously a while ago. Miles kind of gassed him, or Aaron kind of gassed himself out in that match. Miles
He wrestled so
stayed
hard
in the hand fight and just kind of weathered the storm. But when you wrestle a guy like Yazdani, does Yazdani gas him out?
Yeah. I don't know. I have a hard.
He gasses everyone out. The only person I've said this before, but people have this false, casual fans have this false narrative that Yazdani has no gas tank because they only watch him wrestle David Taylor. But if you watch him wrestle anyone else in the world, he is known for just murdering and gassing out everyone.
Yeah.
He gassed out Trent Hidley at that last tournament they wrestled. He has the craziest gas tank. And so
his pace and physicality is unbelievable. And so I have a hard time, saying Aaron's gonna be able to do it now. And it's funny. I remember that Big Ten match. I think that's where I met you in person for the first time, Tyler. But I was talking with Miles after that match, and he was talking about Aaron, and he's honestly he reminds me a lot of Yazdani in how he hand fights, which is now looking at it, it's oh wow, it's so interesting. But that was, it's one of the hallmarks. And, Aaron's openly discussed, I modeled my underhook off of Yazdani, and I modeled my outside step off of Zauerbek Sidikov, and now he could be wrestling that guy. I feel like Aaron's advantage is not to get into it's the same advantage that I think David had. It's not about winning out hand fighting and out underhooking and out physicaling Yazdani. It's you just need to get in more wrestling exchanges. He's on your leg, you're on his leg. That's going to be Aaron Brooks' advantage against Hassan Yazdani. So if we can find the way to get on legs or to get Yazdani in extended finishes.
Get on that near ankle. He finishes
Absolutely.
on that a lot.
Absolutely. If we're in those positions, I think he can do it. But man, you think this guy is a huge, huge challenge. It's a big obstacle, and I have a hard time thinking anyone but Yazdani's the favorite here.
Yeah. Miles Amin negative 10,000, but
right.
But Yazdani, I think if you are going into this Olympics expecting Aaron Brooks fully expecting Aaron Brooks to beat Yazdani, maybe adjust expectations a little bit. Not to say that I would be surprised if he did, but be prepared to maybe be disappointed.
Yeah. I'm hoping for who are some other unseeded guys that could be dropped randomly in on the bracket.
So before you were really only worried about Aaron and Nafanov, but now Russia's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Actually, Nafanov got kicked out, and there was going to be a different guy. I can't remember his name.
Bagayev, maybe?
Aslan
Bagayev.
Bagayev, yeah.
A Sishin.
Bagayev, pretty good. He was young, so JD had the opinion that he was more nervous about Bagayev than Nafanov or than Kurugliev.
Nah.
but
No.
I completely disagreed with that.
Strongly.
Without Russia, it's pretty much just Aaron, I think, that you're really worried about getting dropped into this bracket.
The guy that probably scares me the most that's unseeded is Osman Nurmagomedov. He medaled at the last 2 Worlds at 92 kilos and he's going to be dropping down. He's Azerbaijan, but he's also originally from Dagestan. And he's someone that could mess up a bracket. I think 92, he got beat by Gasimpur twice or place below him, but that would be the guy I would worry about the most. That's not that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah. And he beat Ramazanov, the guy we were talking about, who beat kind of everyone. So yeah. Very tough weight. Are we going to do our predictions?
Let's do predictions.
All right, starting with Spay.
Ooh. For who? You want the whole podium?
Yeah.
All right. Well, because I'm a Patriot, of course, I'm picking Aaron Brooks to win. And it all depends on where he gets drawn, but Hassan Yazdani, not saying Sharadi because that's just the town he's from, so that's not his name, so you shouldn't do that. But Yazdani for silver. And then for bronze, because I support my friends, Miles Amin. And then the other bronze, I'm going to go with Karugliev. Does that work? No, it doesn't work.
Do that.
Yeah,
impossible.
no Amin. Sorry, Amin. I'm going Karugliev because he just beat Amin at Euros.
Hurts my feelings.
So give me Ramazanov over Dalibekov.
Okay. I'm going to say that Aaron Brooks gets dropped on the top side, and he makes the finals against Hassan Yazdani Sharadi.
Mm-hmm. I knew you were going to do that.
And then on the back side, we'll do repechage first. I got Ishiguro coming through for bronze.
I don't hate it.
This just a vibe thing. He's really slick. There's guys that can beat him for sure. It's kind of an oddball, but watch some of these guys' matches. You'll be like, this dude is nasty. Like he hits some.
He detects the heat.
Yes, he hits some filthy stuff. Filthy. I'll post some of it maybe in a little bit. And then I do. Oh man, I'm gonna pick Miles to get bronze. I say he'll beat Karugliev, but not make the finals. And then I'm gonna do it. Aaron Brooks, Olympic champion. He beats Hassan Yazdani, who will have the freak out of the century when he loses this match. I mean, it was unearthly. I don't know if Miles has told you or was around, but the meltdown Hassan had in the back after losing to David Taylor was.
Oh, really?
It was like a 3-year-old child temper tantrum, just screaming and throwing and just like so loud. Like
He was so close to winning that match.
yeah, he blew it big time despite his cheating, and just threw the biggest fit in the back and just like howling in agony. Which the Iranians have a flair for the dramatic. The 57 last in 21 did the same thing. But yeah, it was wild. So if he loses this one, just stay out of his radius because he's going to be a.
Well, David said he's been wrestling with a smile for the first time in a while.
Really?
He said that in an interview, I think, right? Was that David that said that?
Who that Yazdani has been?
Yeah, I think he was like, he's wrestling with a smile, or like it looks like he's enjoying himself more, or something like that.
You wonder if it was just in. I mean, Hassan obviously could beat David Taylor, and he did one time, whatever. But
so
how much
in
was
every
it?
match, he was winning going into the second period through 2021.
Yeah,
Then in 2022, the tide just like shifted, and David just started kind of
killing
him.
Yeah,
But it almost felt like he was better than David to whatever words you use to determine being better. But like he was always kind of dominating the first half, and then David would just melt him in the second.
yeah.
If you read the Iranian press, through Google Translate, but every coach gets asked, what about David not being there anymore? And every single one goes back to it's all mental. So they all say that Hassan Yazdani, the most technically proficient wrestler, technically he's the best, he's better than David, but mentally he couldn't beat him. They always say that. So now, of course, they're changing it to, okay, well, he doesn't have the mental problem. He won't be beat mentally because that problem isn't there anymore. So, of course, he's a better technical wrestler than Brooks as well. Now they're just like, will he develop a new mental problem?
Yeah. I mean, Brooks is a different sort of physical challenge, though, than David. Like, David is magical. Like, he's there and he's here and he's like, whoa, where'd he go?
Yeah.
And then Aaron Brooks, the level of power that he can bring. Do
you want to bring up the singlet pulls? I can bring up your
well, this guy's notorious. I mean, he makes Sargouche look like a Boy Scout in the singlet. I mean, this
We
guy,
can go through there.
he loves it.
Yeah, this
He
is
loves it.
Liev at what, 19 or 18?
This was no, this is like 17.
Yeah, that's not a incidental contact either.
Oh, he does it all the time. I
And
mean,
this is, and you know,
keep going.
the next one, he literally rips Taylor's.
And you can see his left hand is clenched around the torn singlet. Like, listen, it is not easy to tear a singlet.
No, they're not tearaway. They're not meant to do that.
You don't accidentally do it. These are, especially the Team USA singlets. These are the most durable that you're going to find anywhere.
Yes.
So it is incredible. There's other ones too. Look at that one. That's a nice single leg setup. Look, his fist is closed. It's not incidental. It's a part of the thing.
Yeah, this isn't close to what Zahid got penalized for Brooks in the last couple seconds.
No, absolutely not. So I don't know. There you can see his left hand. It's part of the game. He is going to grab your singlet and try to, and listen, he doesn't need to do that, right? Like, I'm not saying this is why he's one of the greatest ever. He's just all fraudulent, but when you're that good and you cheat on top of it, and I say cheating, maybe cheating's too strong because
I do think it's too strong.
it is too strong because, like, well, they could call it.
Yeah.
They're not calling it. It's not like he's doing PEDs that we know, right? So it's like it's against the rules, but they ignore it. So they got to stop ignoring it because it is against the rules.
I mean, it's like a cork bat. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much different than that or too
Well,
much
a cork bat is you're hiding it. You put
Yeah.
the cork inside the bat. This is just happening in front of everyone.
Cork bat is way more
It's just
cheating.
like you can't call traveling in basketball cheating.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
it's just against the rules.
You take a third step and it's like
Yeah.
maybe the athlete was just trying to get away with it. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
pass interference.
Pass interference, right? Okay, so that cheating, whatever. Something you're just a habitual line stepper, perhaps.
Yeah.
But the point is, forget the verbiage and just focus on the rule and just call the rule because it's against the rules. And we're nothing without laws. Without laws, we're no different than the monkeys. Cosmo Kramer said that.
We got to have the
Kramer
challenge
from
person.
Seinfeld?
Yeah, Cosmo Kramer.
Is that actually his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were quoting like some scientist, and I was trying to make a joke about Seinfeld.
No,
but
Cosmo.
that's actually his
Cosmo was probably dabbled in science too. He had
He's a Renaissance man.
Yeah, he absolutely is a Renaissance man. So yeah, call the singlet shenanigans. And Nomad chimed in. He said, "Yeah, this guy's the worst." He said he's the worst.
Yeah, it's no secret.
Yeah, no secret.
So you got to have that brick ready and make sure we.
Oh, I don't know who'll be in his corner. Maybe Casey, but Casey's all over that stuff. He was ready to go with the Zahid
Headgear.
pull. So they're not gonna get it. No shenanigans. They're gonna be ready for this. No
King of singlet pulls, you call him.
Yeah, King of single pools. King Hassan, King of single pools. There's no one better in my opinion.
I'm ready to crown him.
I'm gonna ask him that. Why do you do that so much?
Yeah, I think my biggest. I'm really excited to see what the hand fight looks like in Brooks versus Yazdani and who gasses if someone does.
It's gonna look insane.
Yeah,
It's gonna look like a boxing match.
it might look a little bit like the Trent Hidley Yazdani match looked like for the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, where they go. Yeah, it's like keeping it up. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's the
Or
one-
maybe Aaron takes a more like he steps back a little bit and tries to get more of those wrestling. Like maybe if you're Aaron, you want Yazdani on your legs, but Yazdani doesn't really take shots.
he will. He'll shoot that left-handed single leg, but it's all off of hooks and like, or he kind of he'll reattack to that single leg, but he will shoot that. He will shoot a single leg. But you're right. He's not gonna. You're not gonna bait him into a shot. It's gonna be kind of in his thing. But David was able to, and when David got him to shoot, it was like he watched the 2018 Worlds. Like it's like the moment he like fires, it's like Yazdani is clueless in all these positions, and David is just like, it's like running 3D chess on him. Like he doesn't even know what's happening to him. And that's where they got to go.
Do you think Brooks can avoid go behinds in the way that David did?
I don't know. That was sort of uncanny.
Or if he will even need to. Like, because David kind of developed that skill because he likes to shoot. Maybe Aaron won't take as many shots as David did.
Aaron's more like ankle and like quick finishes or a
He likes it in the outside step
powerful
now,
double.
though.
Outside step, I feel like it's not very conducive to go behinds.
I
But
you think so?
It's an
I think
opportunity.
it absolutely is.
Okay.
If guys cut the angle on you, right?
Yeah.
I think you're crazy for saying that.
All right. I think it's a little safer than like a head inside single.
I disagree. You don't think I think that you're way more likely to go behind it on head outside than you are head inside.
Okay.
Because if you telegraph it too much, guys can cut the angle on you easier.
Yeah. I'm so curious. I would love to know like the game plan that they're developing for Yazdani, because I think you could take it a lot of different directions. You could say, hey, let's just fight him. Let's just go fight and see how long he can endure. Or you could say, because that's probably what they expect. They expect if they watch him wrestle, they know he's going to come out and try to underhook and stuff, and it's going to be a battle for the underhook. Or does he try to create distance and attack legs? I don't know. It's fascinating to think about the directions Aaron could go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one.
The problem is,
what's the problem?
I don't think we're going to get to see that match.
Is Miles going to do the thing?
So I'm going to go Yazdani, bronze.
He ain't wrestling back.
Dalit bronze.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Brooks, silver. Mazamin, gold.
So
I'm putting money on him. Plus 800, I'll take it all day.
Plus 800. All right, they'll take it all day.
Miles is ready to beat Yazdani.
Why do
Remember this.
You think so?
I do. I think that, look, let me go at bat for my friend real quick.
Okay.
He took him down last time they wrestled. He got out of the match because he got pushed out like 5 times. But you clean that up.
You clean up the thing that Yazdani's done for 10 years.
Clean that up. He's one of the only people that Yazdani hasn't teched in like the last however long. So he's going to go from being teched by him to not being teched by him to beating him. That's the natural progression.
That's the trajectory we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see it. That would be an incredible result.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope Miles has a good one. It's man, he's so small. I don't like how little he is.
Why?
Because Yazdani's big and strong.
Well,
and step outs will still be a thing and a hallmark of Yazdani's strategy.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be, but he's going to be ready this time.
We'll be ready. It just won't get stepped out.
Well, that's another thing though. Like if you want to talk about if we get the Aaron Yazdani match, you talk about getting in wrestling positions. Like that's how Miles took Yazdani down. They got in wrestling position. It was kind of like a scramble, and Miles won. So I think that it's kind of a cliche, like, oh, folk style helps freestyle. We all kind of don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that there are certain positions that kind of like the folk style feel can help with in certain areas.
Yeah, I mean, if you, it's not even just necessarily the folk style feel. I just think Yazdani's training and positions is just like super single threaded through a lot of different things. Yeah. And then if you throw any sort of element, and maybe you could call it folk style, but it's just you see the Russians do it too.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's not folk style. It's just Yazdani is kind of one dimensional.
Yeah.
But he's just so good at that dimension.
Yeah, that dimension is insane.
It's crazy.
He's the most dominant. Yeah, he's like a Sajalayev. It's just David Taylor was there and changed the whole dynamic. So gonna be a great weight. I hope it's a final, but it would be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun if, man, imagine this.
I'm imagining.
Close your eyes. Imagine if he gets Yazdani round 1 like David did in 2018.
Woo!
Brooks Yazdani round 1, and then Miles Aaron semi.
That'd be fire.
Winner's the Olympic champion.
Maybe.
As long as they win the next one, they will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Great weight class. This is gonna be a fun one. Anything else on 86, Andrew?
2 other guys to look out for that won medals at 79 and are coming up. So maybe they're more closer to Miles' side. But Gam Kralidze of Georgia, he's unranked. He's a 79-kilo world medalist last year. And Mikhailov, he got in from Ukraine because of, I believe, Nifanov, or one of the guys ruled ineligible. He placed 79 or at 79 kilos. He's moving up. So a couple world medalists that are also going to be in the bracket that we didn't touch on yet.
I'm pretty sure Miles is already in Europe.
Yeah. I believe so.
Well, he's a native of
I
San
think
Marino.
all Team USA is too, aren't they?
I think they left today.
Oh.
Is today the 22nd?
Yes.
Yeah, this is when they leave. Hopefully all this CrowdStrike nonsense doesn't jam up.
Miles is, sorry, what were you gonna say? CrowdStrike. Sorry, I interrupted you.
What's
Sometimes
that?
my brain is on a delay, and it's like it's like I'm calling in from Zoom. You know.
Yeah, you're not breaking any news here.
What were you gonna say about CrowdStrike?
I was just going to say it jammed up a lot of travel, including yours.
Yes.
David Bray stranded in Fargo.
Yes. In Minneapolis.
See, are you sure?
Yep.
That's not what he said.
He's lied to you then.
Bray, if you lie to me one more time.
Well, you know what? I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but
you are wrong.
Pretty sure he's in Minneapolis.
His flight to Minneapolis, I think, got it doesn't matter. Sion, he's there till Tuesday.
Yeah, I know, and he got there so early too.
Bro, he's gonna have to
Got
pay.
there days before the tournament started.
He's got to pay taxes in North Dakota. He's going to the coaches convention. I was like, Sion, he's leaving for that Wednesday. I was like, you should just go from Fargo to
Yeah.
the coaches convention. This man loves the road, Sion. Also, you know what? I would normally give him the benefit of the doubt for his travels, but the last travel story I heard about Sion, he went to the wrong college altogether. So I don't know where he's trying to go. For all we know, his flight was on time. All right. What should we do? Questions next? Or do we have something else?
Well, we could do Monday Blues or questions.
Oh yeah, let's do let's do Monday Blues.
Monday Blues.
Is this a controversial bit we're doing? The Monday Blues? Yeah.
I don't know. What does the chat say about Monday Blues?
Someone asked and said, "Is it the worst bit we've ever done?" Which, that's a very competitive topic.
Yeah, that could
The worst bit?
We can double.
We've done 1,047 shows. We've had way worse bits. There's only one.
Oh wow, there's no.
Oh, the people have spoken.
Yeah,
One vote.
100%.
I may have put that vote in earlier today. I may not have. You don't know.
There's no way to know. The sanctity of the voting booth is a cornerstone of democracy. And,
That's right.
I like mine. I think it's kind of, it makes us relatable.
Sure. Yeah.
What's your Monday Blue, Tyler?
My Monday Blue is getting home yesterday was a disaster. First of all, you're in Fargo for 6-7 days. I was there for 7 days.
Yeah.
Working and that's fine, but I was excited to be home. Sunday, I didn't have to work the tournament, but my flight wasn't until 3 p.m., which was a bummer because then you postpones getting home. It's like, oh, I'm not going to get home till like 9:30 tonight. It's going to kind of suck.
Sunday's kind of done.
Then I find out, first of all, I never check into flights early unless it's Southwest, because Southwest you get order in line earlier or whatever. In American, I'm just like, I'll just check in when I get there. Never doing that again because I was one of the last to check into my flight. The flight was oversold, and I almost had to spend the night in Fargo yesterday, which would have sucked. Luckily, a Good Samaritan volunteered a seat for a $900 voucher, and I got to go on the flight. But Nick Ramo was left behind.
Nick Ramo?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, how much you've read about the Good Samaritan, but when he helped the man that was beaten nearly to death,
He didn't do it for $900.
He didn't do it for a $900 voucher. He actually paid money to have this man cared for in the end. So, just scripturally,
It was a little hyperbole.
I just want you to know that. That guy, I'm just not trying to gas that guy up too much.
Yeah.
He got $900.
Yeah.
He's probably traveling on the company dime, staying another night.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't do that.
I had to work on my birthday. Then I almost got stuck in Fargo again.
That's just a Flow Wrestling tradition. Just work on your birthdays here.
And then I got stuck in Dallas. So I didn't get home till like 1 a.m. last night. But that's what we do, baby.
That's what we do. We grind. Spay, give me a blue, buddy.
Okay, well, I saw a pretty rad concert over the weekend. Mastodon opened, and then it was a co-headliner with Lamb of God, two amazing bands. But you're out at the amphitheaters, and here's my thing about amphitheaters. Terrible public transportation. Getting an Uber in the crazy crowded parking lot is also a big pain in the butt. Luckily, I had a friend sober driving, so that was good. But I want better transportation to these amphitheaters. This is at Circuit of the Americas, which is a huge complex. They should have better planning for transportation. Everything is cars. They got decent, policemen directing traffic. I want at least a bus doing regular trips when there's events at amphitheaters for us concert goers that want to enjoy adult beverages.
Are you now a single issue voter?
Single issue voter, whichever candidate will get me to Circuit of the Americas back and forth safely will get my vote.
Now this is
I'm an undecided voter.
You were a single issue voter about paper straws.
That's right.
And now this is your new single issue voter.
This is by far and away the leading concern of concerned citizens such as myself.
You should want a transit system.
Yeah, I'll take a transit
Sounds like
system. I'm saying bare minimum a bus. We have lots of buses. I've seen them. Every city has them.
They don't go to the Circuit of America.
Spay was a big
Big bus guy.
He held on for a long time that the bus transit system in Austin was so awesome, and then
Oh, it sucks. That's why I'm mad.
bro,
I would still
No, no,
take
no.
it.
you were like, it's great. It's like $2. You could go anywhere. And I was like, yeah, but it's like, the clientele. He's like, it's fine. It's fine. And then you're finally like, it's just kind of like homeless Uber and I'm not taking it anymore.
It did. It beat me down a little bit.
Yeah. But you defended it very strongly for a long time.
I will extol the virtues of public transpo, no matter how crappy the system is in every city. And Austin has a system. It's not great. Lots of
Doesn't run
Still
south.
going to take it.
Yeah. Okay. My blue. I'm just kind of stressing about Olympic travel and stuff. Because a little bit with the CrowdStrike thing, but not as much. But like the Olympics are a different sort of thing, and the communication is always terrible, and you're getting all these emails, and they're asking all these questions, and you're kind of going like in 2021, Andy and I were like, I think we did everything. I think we're gonna be able to go, but like there's not like some checkbox confirmation you did it. It's all very like unclear on if you're doing the right
This year should be
things.
better than 2021 though, without a pandemic, right?
Yeah, well, it's still going on, so I don't know what you're talking
Snap.
about. But yes, absolutely, it should be better, and I feel a little better about it. But it's also like I think we're good to go, and so that's just running like 2% on my background of like just like stressing me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I think we did everything, and also I'm trying to coordinate all these tickets for you and Connor and my wife, and that's kind of a thing too. And have you downloaded that app yet, sir?
No.
Why are you so
I don't need to do it until I need to get into the venue.
You have to do it right now to confirm if she sent it to you. You have to do it. I explain. You see,
You said download the app is the only way you can get the tickets. You didn't say confirm that you got the tickets sent. I got an email that the tickets were sent to me.
will you please do it?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
You help
now-
take the stress
See,
off of
that's another percentage point. That's another percentage point running in my background is don't do that. It's bad.
Tyler, CP, I got your back on this because I've traveled with Tyler overseas, and there were a couple tricks that you really needed to have explained so that we almost got stuck in De Gaulle because you're like, oh, I need Wi-Fi to get my boarding pass, and I can't get my boarding pass because there's no
We didn't
Wi-Fi.
almost get stuck. I got my boarding pass.
He's
It was
too
not a non-issue.
He's too Cali cool about everything.
We cut into our lounge time. What are you talking about? It was a
Didn't
non-issue.
cut
It was
into
a
anything.
huge
What
issue
cut into
for
our
me.
lounge time was both of our bags got searched.
Well,
That didn't help.
This guy is capping so hard right
No,
now.
it's no cap. You were real skibbity.
Okay.
next.
We are days away from the Paris Olympic Games. I have a couple French facts for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, bring them on.
Okay. The Eiffel Tower grows taller during the summer due to thermal expansion. How many inches taller does it grow? This is Price is Right style.
You know.
7. Can't be that many inches.
6.5.
6 inches taller.
What?
I nailed it.
Well, no, you
Oh.
both. It's Price is Right style. You guys both are wrong.
Oh wow.
So,
So
Half inches aren't allowed.
yeah.
Yeah, so I go round down to 6.
okay.
Funny.
I'm gonna go. King Louis the 19th was king of France for a very small interval of time. How long was he the king of France for?
I'm gonna go less than a day.
Okay.
Yeah, 0 days.
Okay. So Spay is right because his Price is Right style, and it was 20 minutes.
Wow. Would he just get executed in 20 minutes?
I don't know. You know, I didn't read. I just
That's it.
That was after they overthrew everybody. Louis the 16th was the last major king.
Okay.
That's the one who got his head cut off at the French Revolution, right after the U.S. Revolution.
We did a whole decapitation bit last time. French fry. He's kind of morbid, Tyler.
well, that was actually Bray.
You're kind of
Bray
a-
pulled that up.
Kind
So
of a sick freak.
I got one more French fact. How many tons of cheese per year does France produce? Price is Right style. Go.
Tons? 30,000 tons.
29,000. No, 1 ton. Price is Right style.
It's 1.7 million tons. So Christian is going to go ahead and win.
okay.
this
I was way closer. Millions of tons. I don't have to. That's not a helpful fact, you know. It's just
Don't you? I like the
an
I like the
unimaginable.
numbers ones. I like making you guys guess.
All right, that's fair.
I like the participation of.
Just like the image of Cthulhu, that is an unimaginable thing.
Oh, don't even get me started on Cthulhu. Sway.
Yeah.
This is not
Nobody has
FRL.
time to hear about that.
No one has time to hear about our debate. Okay. Should we move on to questions from friends?
Let's do it.
Spade, what time is it?
We got about 10 minutes of.
Well, we started late.
We started late, so maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I have a dentist appointment in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, at 2:30.
So
You're gonna miss it. Unless it's right outside.
We have a
Spade
dentist.
doesn't get it.
We have an in-house dentist.
Spade doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would win at 86 kilos? 2024 Aaron Brooks or 2016 Jaden Cox?
Oh, let me.
Wow.
That's fun.
Bet it's not fun. Bet it's really low scoring. Man, 2016 Jaden. He was young then. I mean, that was after his like junior year. That's from the real Slink. Man, recency hurts. I'll go Aaron.
Okay.
I'll go Aaron. Not really sure why.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I feel like you got a guy that's going to the Olympics right now. You got to just say him. You got to put that good energy on him.
Yeah, it's all about the good energy, Jaden. I hope you understand.
I do think that Jaden is a very complicated person to wrestle, and that, man, I sure would love if we had a time machine.
He's the Dan Flashes of wrestling.
It's so many patterns.
Complicated. Most complicated.
Patterns are so complicated.
Yeah.
They call them the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
All right. This question is for Spay and Spay only.
Yeah.
Virginia is for FRL. That's a little throwback reference to your old message board name.
That's right.
Spay, who has the best hair on Team USA men's freestyle?
Okay, so that helps because it narrows it down to 6. Because if you brought in women's freestyle, it'd be a lot tougher. Greco as well. So men's freestyle, you can go through. Spencer.
Not a lot of standouts.
No, I mean everybody's got pretty nice hair. Zane often has it nice comb. Looks very business like.
A New York financier.
He could be He could be in private equity as
Yes.
well. Brooks, not much hair. Snyder, not much hair. Mason, pretty close cut. I'm gonna have to go with Dake.
Yeah.
I feel like we've seen and he's given us a couple different looks with some gel and that kind of thing. But
He was gelled out at the interview.
yeah,
You know.
he's a guy that definitely he cares. I mean, no matter where you even fall on how much you actually like it, I appreciate the effort.
I would argue
I
that
like it.
Yeah.
I would argue that Aaron Brooks shows up with some fresh looking hair, despite the fact that he doesn't have a lot.
Sometimes he'll just
think
be
he-
bald.
That's true.
He'll be like, "Yo, where'd your hair go?"
That's true. He does do that sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wins at 65 kilos, Aaron Pico or Yanni Diakomahalis? Also, CP, let me get a B-Day shout out. That's another question from Slink.
Shout out Slink. Happy birthday. Appreciate your questions and you listening to the show. And this good question. So Aaron Pico is, man, we watched this guy beat Zane Rutherford 7 times. That happened live on Floor Wrestling every single time. And it's unbelievable because every time I was like, I think Zane's going to, he's won every time. So peak Pico versus peak Yanni. I think I would go with Pico. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, Yanni, it's sort of an unanswered question because Pico left at like 19 or 18. He stopped in 2016.
Yanni is a world silver.
Yeah, he is.
Like, do you think 2016 Pico would have beat Tivanian in 2022? I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, he was winning senior level matches at that point in time. Man, it's a coin flip match. Would Yanni be able to get him in some of those positions is what I'm wondering.
If we're going peak versus peak, I got to go Yanni.
Okay.
Because Yanni broke the streak at 65.
He did.
If you allow for we might have never seen Pico's peak.
that's
Taking him at 2016, I got to go Yanni.
you got to,
because I don't think.
Well, that's what I'm
I
not
think you have to
doing.
take Aaron Pico 2016 in this scenario. You can't just imagine a scenario where he's still wrestling at 65.
Yeah, I know.
It is imaginable.
I kind of am. It's unlike Cthulhu.
Unlike
I can imagine this. And
Cthulhu is imaginable.
Not
yeah.
his appearance.
Don't get me started.
Just the concept of him.
Yeah.
Squid guy.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Yanni.
Okay.
Tough one. Very good question.
I think you got to go Yanni. This is from Lesh is Moorer. Is that a reference to something?
No, it's just like less is more. but
Okay.
His last name is probably Lesh or something.
There you go.
Maybe
Do
he can
you-
explain.
Do you think our U.S. wrestlers should travel to and practice in other countries to learn from them? As some of them come to the United States, I'm sure safety is a concern in some countries. For example, I'm sure our guys and gals could learn a lot from the stands.
Certainly. I think there's value in that. And I think they do that to an extent. I mean, Kyle Snyder spent extensive time in Dagestan training over there. Gilman did in the past. And I think now the Nittany Lion room is so insane that they're like, I can get a lot of field just driving to Rec Hall and just going with all these guys. But yeah, I think there's a lot of value in that. And I think many of our wrestlers have done that and should probably continue to do it. I think for those younger guys especially, it's really good. That's a really good experience.
Yeah. I know Coach Medlin takes the Illinois RTC guys out there, also gets some Greco work out there. Zane Richards learned to Lesginka in Dagestan, where the dance move is originated. Yeah.
Stevan lived in Dagestan for like a month.
Really?
He was in high school, over the summer.
Interesting.
Okay, Cody Pevler. If you could pick to win one and only one high school tournament, what would it be? State, Fargo, Super 32, Worlds?
Well, Worlds sounds pretty cool, but you can't. If that's the only one you can win, you can't get on the team because you didn't win trials.
Okay, come on, dude.
I'm just saying. Well, I will say the toughest tournament to win in high school is probably Super 32.
Yeah.
Second is cadet trials, probably. So just for I would say cadet trials because you get the bonus of getting to represent America.
Then you don't get to win Worlds.
You might, though. You might.
Well, no, this is one and only one.
One and only one.
It's kind of worded.
Worlds is not a high school tournament.
Right.
Though.
If you had to break just high school, I would remove Worlds and the team trials out of it. Just let's call it domestic high school.
All right.
Tournament.
I think that winning. So
a Virginia State title is just as prestigious.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. I think this could be so wrong, and you might laugh at me, but just if I am wrong, just correct me.
I will.
I think that winning Super 32 is maybe more predictive for how good a guy is going to be than winning Cadet Worlds is.
I don't know. I feel like it sounds like it would be, but
there's so few Cadet World champs too.
I want to look at the last. Wait, Cadet Worlds or Cadet Trials?
Cadet Worlds.
Oh. I don't know.
Okay. I'm glad that you didn't make fun of me.
I don't think you're right.
I think I would go.
It depends on the weight because some weights at Super 32 are not on the level.
Yeah.
You get some crazy ones.
I think that if you want to get recruited in college, you're going to get recruited if you win any.
Well, if you win cadet trial, you could find, I would predict, you could find, no, I'm not even going to say it.
What if the question was framed a little differently, where it's not like this is going to show that you're going to be the best, but what if you have a flash in the pan, you never get to the next level again? Which would you rather have in your trophy case if this is as good as it gets?
I think
you don't wrestle in college.
I think you'd rather have a world title because then you can just tell other people that don't know about wrestling that you won a world title. Because if you say you're 30 and someone's like, oh, you used to wrestle? Yeah, I won Super 32. That's going to mean nothing to that person.
But if you say you made the world team, that would mean something.
Yeah.
But what if we're doing domestic high school tournaments? You're a good high school wrestler.
State tournament. State tournament is the best thing to have won.
I'm going to that.
State champ.
Put it on your letter jacket. Now we're talking.
I would rather win Super 32.
Okay.
But that's just your one tournament. You never reach that level again, and you lose.
You're not going to pick up any chicks like that, Tyler. You got to tell her state.
Cruising the mall.
All right.
I would rather be respected amongst my fellow warriors.
You're so cool.
I don't care about chicks.
Yeah, state tournament.
How's the respect game working out for you right now?
All right, this is by Sipdit.
Oh,
Sipdit.
Yeah.
What does a matchup with Yazdani have to look like for Brooks to beat him? Same question for Yazdani to beat Brooks.
I don't.
Kind of talked about that.
Talked about it.
Get in more resting positions if you're Brooks. If you're Yazdani, I think you want to gas Brooks out and control the hand fight. You agree?
Yeah, move him around.
All right, this is our last question.
Did you pick that guy for his name, by the way? It's a great name.
No, I'm just going in order here.
All right. Well, the Twitter handle is pretty funny.
Ty A. Kanoof asks, can you buy tickets to Who's Number One? If so, where?
That was also asked a lot in the chat.
You can, not yet. We're looking at August 1st will be when you can, well, that's next Thursday, I believe. That's the date we were told we should say that you could be able to buy them. So if you don't know, September 29th, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. This is going to sell out. So you are going to want to buy tickets quickly or there will be none. And then that will be sad. And you'll have to scalp. And I don't even know if that's a thing for Who's Number One Wrestling.
It might become one. Yeah.
Who knows?
Might become one. And if you are scalping, shame on you. Trying to take advantage of these young wrestling fans in Pennsylvania. They just want to watch Bo and Jax and all these guys. I say publicly, right here, shame on you. Shame on you. Don't do that.
But the camera wasn't on. Do it again. Now it's on.
Shame on you if you scalp Who's Number One tickets.
There you go.
Unless you can't go and something comes up, in which case I'm very understanding. I'm sorry that happened to you, but then you can scalp for a reasonable rate.
Yeah, maybe.
That's fine.
Give them away. To a high
Give
school
them
kid.
away.
To a high school kid.
You could change a life.
Yep.
How about you change a life?
If you're selling for above face value, we need a taste. We
Yeah.
just need to wet our beak a little bit.
Yeah, just a little something on the side. But no, Who's Number One is going to be so awesome. The potential matchups here are insane. We already have one with Zepeda and Bassett, and I think there's going to be some other incredible ones coming. You're not going to want to miss it. But if you miss it live, you can watch it live on Flow Wrestling. So that's good.
I think there's going to be some cool gear, too.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're Spay and I are on the swag committee,
Haha.
so we get to. What are you doing? What's happening? Where's Tyler going?
What?
All right, Tyler just gets up sometimes.
All right.
All right, we'll see you later.
Vaya con Dios.
I'm not sure what's happening. I guess the show's over. Tyler just got up and walked out. Yeah. All right, Tyler just left.
Got places to be.
Yeah. Okay. That was weird. All right, so it's 2:30. Maybe he does really.
The dentist is
Maybe he really does have a dentist appointment because he's already late for it. But it is time to go. So we will be back on Thursday. I don't know if Tyler will be back. He just left the show. That was kind of out of nowhere. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Who's Number One's going to be awesome. Lots of Olympic content coming to the site. So stay tuned for that. I think Fargo recap pretty much in the books. Thanks to Spay. Thanks to Tyler, sort of. And thanks especially to you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.